Welcome back to Too Long to Read, the European Policy Center's video explainer series on key enlargement issues. In our last episode, we unpacked Moscow's malign influence across EU candidate countries. Today, we turn our eyes east again, but this time further east. We're talking about China. From bridges and highways to surveillance cameras and Confucius institutes, Beijing's footprint is everywhere. But how deep does it go? How much influence does China actually wield in the Western Balkans and the Eastern Trio? And is it a threat to EU integration? Or should we look at it as a partner in the region's modernization and economic growth? In order to measure China's influence, we used the Invigorate EU External Influence Index. This index is developed under the Horizon-funded Invigorate EU project, and it systematically maps China's influence across 9 EU candidate countries. It looks at 3 key dimensions: political, economic, and societal influence. If you'd like to delve deeper into the methodology and country scores, you'll find them in the publication linked in the description. But in this video, we'll summarize for you a couple of key findings. First, as you can see in the graph, China's influence is growing overall. However, it remains fragmented and asymmetrical. Over the past decade, China's influence has told us a story of adaptation. China has managed to adapt to various national contexts and offer attractive, tailor-made solutions. It builds a flexible network system based on who's most willing to cooperate. Basically, China moves like a dragon, patiently, flexibly, and with purpose. Second, the graph on your screen illustrates that the Chinese political influence has been on the rise. But China does not interfere in internal politics openly. It builds relationships. It offers leaders in hybrid regimes a no-strings-attached partnership, providing them with funds and political support without the democratic oversight demanded by the West. Third, China's economic presence is pronounced and visible, but a quick glance at the chart reveals something interesting. Its actual economic influence is surprisingly limited. It has positioned itself as an alternative source of funding, such as in the case of the highway project in Montenegro. But apart from Serbia and to some extent Georgia, Chinese economic presence is often restricted due to divergent geopolitical preferences. Fourth, looking at the same graph, you can see that Serbia is China's prime success story, evolving from simple infrastructure loans to strategic investments in factories and mines. With the 2023 Free Trade Agreement, it's becoming China's long-term platform for the entire Southeastern Europe, confirming that China's influence grows where political receptiveness exists. Fifth, the next graph also shows a notable rise: the rise in China's societal influence. As in the political and economic areas, Chinese influence is largely state-led. It is centered on Confucius institutes, scholarships, cultural diplomacy, and sponsored pro-China narratives in local media. It is largely instrumental as it serves to testify to the status of a rising superpower. Still, in people's hearts and minds, China remains a distant land with a very different mentality and lifestyle. In other words, the Chinese societal footprint is broad but shallow. Sixth, China follows a state-centric model that integrates infrastructure, trade, and digital technologies on one side, and security interests on the other. This raises concerns about data security and who controls critical assets. These fears are further amplified by China's ambiguous position on the war in Ukraine. Seventh, China isn't a coherent challenger to the West. It's rather a strategic opportunist, filling voids left by EU fatigue and offering a development without democracy model which local elites are happy to use for their own gain. Thus, the region serves as a laboratory for China's socio-political model, showing how external influence can be embedded gradually. So, how does this all compare to Russia, the EU's main challenger? While the Russian bear rose with disinformation, military pressure, and nostalgia, the Chinese dragon operates differently. It doesn't seek to divide societies or dominate politics. It seeks presence, access, and dependence. Beijing's power is transactional, not ideological, but that makes it harder to detect and even harder to reverse. Why does this matter for the EU? Because China's rise in its neighborhood isn't a sudden shock, it's a mirror. It reflects where EU policy moves too slowly, where promises stay on paper, and where visibility fades. China doesn't need to win the Western Balkans or the Eastern Trio. It simply advances where the EU stands still. For that reason, our study points to 3 recommendations. First, making enlargement the core priority. The membership is the strongest barrier against hostile foreign influence. While foreign actors will continue to look for new avenues of influence, membership imposes a comprehensive framework for accountability, anti-corruption measures, and alignment with EU foreign policy that is far stronger than the current status quo. Second, the EU must speed up economic and investment alternatives. Deliver on promises like the new growth plan for the Western Balkans and offer financing that matches local needs, transparent but tangible. Third, double down on people-to-people ties, fund exchange programs, media collaborations, and research partnerships that make the EU visible again, not as a distant donor, but as a real partner. If you want to dive deeper into the data, country scores, and methodology, click the link in the description and download the full publication. Thanks for watching. This was too long to read, your shortcut to understanding EU enlargement.